Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/thebarn. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/thebarn.
Hello, my name is Jason Lowry.
And I'm Mark Tody.
And this is the Parkland Podcast.
It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. They got plenty to say. They got plenty of heart. On the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast. It's the Parkland Podcast. Yeah, the Parkland Podcast with Jason and Mark. Jason and Mark.
Yes. It is much better to see all those smiling faces than to watch us dance.
Hey, I do want to give a shout out to my brother Tom.
Yeah.
He has written a song.
Ooh, okay.
And we are going to play it, not so much on this episode of the podcast, but in a future one. We just have to get the official approval from, the Led Zeppelin of Missouri, my brother Tom. So it's a really, really, really good song. And we also need to give a shout out to his wife, Karen. This past week was her last day at work. She is now retired.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yes.
Now, is your brother retired too?
He will be. He's either retired or he's going to be retiring this spring.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to have a lot of free time on their hands. And I guess after 40 some odd years of marriage, they'll figure out if it's for real or not.
Yeah, that's yeah, exactly. That's whenever you get down to the brass tacks of things.
But anyway, I didn't know Karen could retire at the age of 37, but that's how old she looks. The name of the song is called Out of Darkness, and be listening for it debuting on the Parkland Podcast.
Very, very cool. This is episode 34.
Wow.
We've done a bunch of these already. And this one's going to be a good one. We have State Representative Dale Wright. He's going to join us. Coming up in sports, we're going to talk to new Farmington head football coach Brent Eckley. We're going to have Becky Landrum on in our news segment. Who else do we have? Chris Landrum. Oh, my gosh. And who else do we have coming up?
We also have the Shelly Bess from Shared Blessings.
Shared Blessings joining us here. So it's going to be a blessing of an episode for you. And we have a lot of sponsors to thank as well. We have Parkland Pharmacy, Discover Farmington, Save a Lot of the Parkland, Heimberger Constructions.
Hello, Jenny.
Subway, Eat Fresh.
Hi, girls.
First State Community Bank.
Hello, Matt.
Ike's Revival Florist.
Hi, new sponsors.
And the Pasta House Company.
Yeah, Nancy.
And Booze and Bark Carpet.
Thank you, Chad, and the boys at Booze and Bark.
Thank you very much. And I'm starting to come down with the crew. How's your health, man? Are you feeling okay?
I've walked 3.5 miles before recording. I am good to go, buddy.
The sickness is running rampant in the halls of Farmington High School and everywhere else. And
by the way, if you want to stay good and healthy, go see Earth Mother Health Foods like I did this week. I want to thank Melanie. She hooked me up with a whole bunch of really good tea. I've been drinking a lot of peppermint and spearmint tea, but she hooked me up with this other tea. It's a blueberry flavor that I'm drinking now. Also a sugar cookie flavor, and I really love mangoes, so I've got a mango tea as well that I'll be trying here in the near future. But blueberry is really good and available at Earth Mother.
All right, so be watching our Facebook page this week because this is where we're going to drop our promotion called Heart of the Parkland. And what we want you to do is upload a picture to this post of any couple. I mean, I guess it needs to be somebody from the Parkland. We don't want like Leonardo DiCaprio and whoever his latest fling is.
Some
on
20-year-old,
there.
yeah.
I mean, they might get a lot of likes though, and that's what it's all about. Because if your picture gets the most reactions, thumbs up, hearts, whatever, you will win a nice prize package courtesy of our sponsors of Heart of the Parkland, and they are Ike's Revival Florist and the Pasta House, and we will announce that winner before Valentine's Day, so you could be like a Valentine's Day hero and come through with a nice prize package courtesy of our sponsors. And of course, we encourage you to hop on the Facebook page anytime and check out the fun things that we like to post on there. Pictures of bears defecating within the city limits.
It doesn't get any better than that.
It sure doesn't. And then I also, again, want to make sure that you know that we will be doing our election night live coverage for the municipal election on Tuesday, April the 8th. Mark and I will be at Election Central. I'm sure Kevin Engler will probably join us at some point. And maybe Dan Shunks will be there again. He was fun to talk to last time. And a cast of characters, supporters. We have 3 contested mayoral races in the area: Deloge, Park Hills, Farmington. So some worthwhile information will be disseminated for you that night, and we sure do hope you tune in. Wait, before we start the music trivia, I have to let people know that my team finished above your team.
Oh, at St. Joe Trivia?
St. Joe Trivia.
Yeah, as I like to say about my grade point average in high school, we weren't in the top half of teams that finished, but we were in the half that made the top half look even better.
Yes.
We were horrible.
We finished second, and I'm a little disappointed. There were a couple of things that I wanted back.
Well, that first category, I can't remember what it was. I think I knew one
90s
answer.
toys.
Yeah, that was not my wheelhouse. But the music categories, I did real well with.
Yeah.
But the girls on our team were so darn good looking, but I think they were more eye candy than they were.
Well, sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of music, how about some music trivia? Do you have any music trivia for us?
I've got some music trivia because we also have our list of favorite bands to go.
Yeah, that's coming up in the music segment. So make sure you stick around to the end of the podcast or use those time marks in the description to get there. But yeah, we're doing a little music ranking, which I'm excited about.
All right. Famous guys, famous for being in one group, but actually more or less got their start in another, but also were well known for being in another group. You know Joe Walsh from the Eagles, but that's not where he got his start.
Let's see. What was the name of his band? Is the I Know What You're Doing? That was oh crap, and I can't remember the name of it.
The James Gang.
The James Gang, yes.
All right. Ronnie Wood, best known as a member of the Rolling Stones. Okay. But what other 2 well-known groups was he a part of before that?
Before the Rolling Stones?
Yes.
Oh my, I don't know.
The Jeff Beck Group.
Oh, yeah,
and Rod Stewart and the Faces.
Oh, they were pre-Stones?
Yes, they were.
Wow.
Well, they weren't pre-Stones, but Ronnie Wood didn't join the Stones until the 70s.
Okay.
All right. You might know Mike Rutherford as a member of Genesis. Great group.
Right.
But he was also a member of another group that came later that had a couple of really good songs.
Mike and the Mechanics.
Very good.
Yes.
You got one there.
Yes.
All right. Stevie Winwood. You know him from Traffic.
Yes.
But what group did he start with as a 14-year-old?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I remember reading this. And it's escaped my brain.
The Spencer Davis Group.
Spencer Davis Group, because
give me some lovin'. Yeah.
Oh no, give me some lovin', or was that? Anyways, go ahead.
Anyway, no, that was my last one there, because I'm going to save the rest for our favorite bands.
Okay, very, very cool. What about a totally? Oh wait, what'd you do this week? We didn't cover that part yet. Anything exciting?
I did a lot of work for the United Way, a little bit of work for my church, and other than that, went to the Elks Lodge in Farmington, and that's about it.
Wow. St. Joe basketball is wrapping up.
Parents are very happy about that.
I don't know, man. I'm one of those parents that's like, oh, let's keep going. Let's play another month or 2. But we had our 8th grade night this past Tuesday. And so that's whenever the parents walk out with the kid. And I mean, I was a mess. And I think it was there were 2 things that got me. When you're an 8th grader at St. Joe, you get a prayer partner who's in the kindergarten class, and basically you sit together at Mass every Friday, and it's just kind of like passing it down kind of thing, and I'm getting kind of choked up thinking about it, but watching Jonas with his prayer partner just got me. Oh man, it was so rough.
Good job, Jonas.
Yeah, he's so good. And then when we got out there, we high-fived JoJo, the mascot, and then James and Lucy came running over to walk with us too. So
Nice.
It was really cool to be a family, and so proud of Jonas. And okay, I'm going to quit talking about it because I'm getting choked up. Give me a totally awesome radio story to make me feel better about things.
I don't know if I'm going to remember this exactly how it was said, but about 30-some-odd years ago, Ronald Reagan came to Cape Girardeau. He was at the Show Me Center, and I got the chance to go listen to him speak. He was campaigning for George Bush, I believe, at the time, and he told this joke. Now, I am neither a Republican or a Democrat, but if I'm going to repeat a Ronald Reagan joke, this is going to be told from the Republican point of view, right?
Okay.
All right, anyway, he says, there was this Republican candidate who was out campaigning in the country, and I hope I get this right. And he came up to a farmer and he says, I'd like to, practice my spiel on you. And the farmer, who was also a Republican, said, sure. And he goes, but I really would like to be up high, on a platform somewhere, but I don't see a platform anywhere. So the farmer says, I think I can help you out. He goes, there's a big pile of cow manure over there, like 10 feet tall. And he put a plank on top of that, a couple of planks. He goes, get up there, so that way you're up tall, and you can give your spiel. So the Republican candidate got on top of the big pile of manure and started speaking. And he looked down at the farmer, who had this big smile on his face. And he goes, well, what's so funny? Haven't you ever heard a Republican platform before? A Republican speech before? And he goes, oh, I've heard plenty of Republican speeches. I've just never heard one on top of a Democratic platform.
Oh!
It was just kind of funny. When Ronald Reagan told it, everybody laughed.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So that was what, about 91?
91 or so,
if he was campaigning for George H.W., right? He was the older one?
Dad.
Yeah, the
was
dad. So, yeah, really cool. And I'm sure, he was electric figure in person.
Great
and,
speaker. Great speaker.
Yeah, the Hollywood really shone through. And that was really, I kind of remember Jimmy Carter, but he was the first president that I remember.
Ronald Reagan started out as a Democrat. He switched over late to be a Republican, and it worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, he did okay. All right, so that is your totally awesome radio story. The Pasta House Company in Farmington, our newest sponsor of the Parkland podcast. They're on Valley Creek Drive in Farmington. Oh my gosh, they've had the Mark Toady special for many, many years. Did it change, or was it the same thing every time?
Oh no, it changed. It would change.
Okay.
I don't know that it's exactly there anymore. But let's do this over, because I don't even want to mention that. They don't do it anymore.
Oh, okay. The Pasta House Company in Farmington on Valley Creek Drive. Mark, you are a loyal patron of the Pasta House, and you and Nancy go back a long way. We're so happy to have her as an advertiser, and man, what great food and service is available there all the time.
Love Nancy to death, and she loves to sit down and talk to you, but just don't put a microphone in front of her face.
Okay.
She does not like to talk on the radio, but the food at the Pasta House will sell itself. I try to get something a little different every time I go in, but then I get stuck on certain things. Like right now, their pork chops are just awesome. They are just phenomenal. The Mount Vesuvius salad is awesome. If you've ever had the Mount Vesuvius wings and you've ever had the salad, they combine the two of them, and it is amazing. Pasta con broccoli is awesome. The chicken parmesan is award-winning. Every now and then I'll buck up and get a steak because the steaks are really good. The bottom line is there's no such thing as a bad meal or bad service. Got to give a shout out to Shannon, by the way, when you go to the Pasta House in Farmington. I love that place.
We love to go get salad and rolls. That's like
The rolls
any
are
kind
awesome.
Any kind of family event. And they're like, hey, get Pasta House salad and rolls. And it works out great. They can cater for any size event.
And don't forget, with Valentine's Day right around the corner, what better place to take your sweetheart than the Pasta House?
Pasta House Company in Farmington, fine sponsors of the Parkland podcast. Ike's Florist in Farmington has been a tradition. They have so much quality. They have the beautiful arrangements, but they're under new ownership now, Mark, and they are called Ike's Revival Florist. And very exciting to see what Macy and Philip Kreitler are going to do with this wonderful historic business.
Boy, I wish Macy a happy birthday for so many years on the radio. We wished her a happy birthday not too long ago on the podcast, but it's a beautiful store. And boy, I'll tell you what, with Valentine's Day coming around, a beautiful floral arrangement would be perfect for that special someone in your life. But it's not just floral arrangements. They have lots of great gift ideas and knickknacks, something for everyone. If you like to go in to a store and just shop around and kind of get lost in the atmosphere, that's the place to do it. They're easy to find right off Karsh Boulevard, and Macy and Philip are two awesome people. You will definitely like the experience of going into Ike's Revival Florist.
Yeah, full service florist and cozy market for all things wholesome. They brought in a lot of new and different items, very unique gifts. So if you're looking for a unique gift for that special somebody on Valentine's Day, or maybe you've recently had a death in the family, all kinds of great sympathy gifts and items in that store as well. Plus, before you know it, these seniors are going to be graduating, so there's all kinds of neat graduation gifts in there as well. And I love their website, ikesflorist.com. Very easy to use. Everything's laid out very nicely. You can see the floral arrangements. They also have a great Facebook page, Ike's Revival Florist. Check them out today. Here's your latest news from the Parkland podcast. A Park Hills man and an Irondale woman are facing multiple charges after the couple beat an Irondale man and stole his truck with his dog inside. According to the Washington County Sheriff's Department, 34-year-old Robert Radford Jr. and 24-year-old Haley Driscoll robbed and beat the victim with a hammer and a wooden object. The victim was airlifted to Mercy South Hospital, where it was reported he had 2 broken arms and a brain bleed. The couple stole the victim's truck and cell phone. They later burned the truck near Camp Irondale before authorities found the couple. The dog was found unharmed and returned to the victim.
The Missouri State Senate is considering banning marriages involving anyone under 18. Currently, the state allows 16 and 17-year-olds to get married with parental consent to anyone under 21. If passed, the legislation would not affect any existing marriages. Similar legislation failed to make it out of the Senate last year, as those opposed to it argued that it would give the government the excuse to intrude in family marriages.
Farmington is rolling out a new system to make it easier to report a power or water outage. City Light and Water customers can call or text 833-990-3370. That's 833-990-3370, and give their information to the automated system. The system was purchased through a discount from the Missouri Public Utility Alliance. Residents can still call City Hall during regular business hours.
The city of Deloge is making an effort to keep the peace between dogs and cats. Deloge recently expanded their animal control facilities through the help of MRC Restoration. The project was also aided by the Deloge Chamber of Commerce and the Big Door Coffee House. The City Pound is located on Oak Street near the railroad tracks.
And money raised from the Help the Hungry bake sale has made its way to our local food pantries. Mark had a chance to catch up with Chris Landrum.
Well, this past Friday was a big day for the Help the Hungry bake sale and auction, as checks were presented to the 2 food pantries in Farmington. Chris Landrum has been the organizer of Help the Hungry for so many years now. And Chris, it's always a great day when you can see all your hard work come to fruition.
Oh, exactly. It seems like a little underwhelming in a way because we didn't have to work so hard that particular day. All we have to do is show up and hand them a check. But when I see the look on the faces of the 2 ladies from the food pantry, that says it all. So they're always so very thankful.
And you know what? We're not just talking a couple of dollars here. These were some pretty sizable checks.
Well, they were. We were able to give $62,000 to each of the 2 food pantries. So they said that would help them tremendously. So we're super excited about that.
Everybody knows about the Help the Hungry bake sale, but there was a full year of activity and efforts that went into this.
Well, we try not to wear people out by shoving Help the Hungry bake sale down their throats, but we do. We start out in late summer with plans. We try to advertise through homecoming parade and that type of thing, and then we always have the big Offenburg barbecue, which is a lot of work, and then after that's over, we rally the troops and do our big push for the bake sale in November.
A lot of work goes into this. A lot of people have contributed to this.
Well, where do you start? Just where do you start? I have a great committee of 28 women that help in a variety of capacities, and they're so instrumental in getting the word out at their churches and in the community. It's just a whole community effort, as we've talked about before. The people that bake, the people that donate, the people that come and shop. We couldn't do it without everybody's participation.
Okay, so you talked to the ladies that run the food pantries. What do they tell you about just how important this money is?
Agnes Hinkebine from St. Vincent de Paul told me today, she said, with this money, we are able to do so many nice things for our clients. And I've volunteered down there. I see what they do, and they give such quality food that is just provide such great nutrition for these people. And then they also can do little personal care items. They just really, both food pantries really try to take care of their clients. And if Nancy Faulkner said originally when they first opened the food pantry that they could give 17 pounds of food per person. Now they're able to give over 50 pounds of food per person. And that seems like a lot, and it is, but when a gallon of milk weighs 8 pounds, you can see. But anyway, they're able to do wonderful things that they would not be able to do if it weren't for what we did for them.
How much time will go by before you start planning out next year's activities?
Well,
or this year's activities, I should say.
Yeah, it's 2025. I'll get the group together. We'll have dinner. We'll talk about what worked, what didn't work this year, or last year, and then we'll use that and we'll start in. I mean, we'll be doing some little things behind the scenes between now and summer, and then in August we'll start in full swing.
It's a wonderful event. Congratulations to you and the committee. It's always a great thing to be a part of. The whole community gets involved.
Well, yeah, we think it's just fun. I always call it a win-win, and we all have fun doing it. People that are involved have fun, and then we get to make sure our hungry neighbors are fed.
Literally thousands of people have benefited from this.
Oh, I just wonder. Wonder, but yes, I think so. And you just never know how that might have made a difference in somebody's life. Maybe a husband didn't have to worry about taking a second job because they were able to get food, or maybe they were able to buy food, be able to buy their medicine because they had food. Or I always think of some little hungry kid, maybe that person is the one that's going to cure cancer or some other disease, but he was nourished and could concentrate at school because of what we did. So we never know, but God does.
Thanks, Chris, and congratulations.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, that's Chris Landrum, helping to organize the Help the Hungry bake sale and auction again this year, and over $120,000 going out to the 2 food pantries in Farmington.
And that's your news on the Parkland Podcast. Subway, eat fresh. There's probably not a better fast food restaurant to keep those healthy New Year's resolutions than Subway of the Parkland.
I'm not even sure I can call them fast food because it's just really, really good food. And the only thing better than the food are the people. Heather and Jessica, Brianna, Mike, and Jake, who just celebrated his birthday in the past week.
We can't stress that enough, can we?
We cannot stress that enough, that Jake is now another year older. But they have wonderful, wonderful Subway sandwiches, but they also have great soup, They also have cookies that are really good. And they have pizzas there, along with a lot of other choices. So when you come into Subway, be prepared to make decisions because there's a lot of good food to choose from.
And a new location coming soon to Farmington, too. So we'll be excited about that. But right now, located in the Maple Valley Center, everybody's looking at each other in the background. Whoa, new Subway? What? That's a few episodes we broke that. Anyways, check them out, Maple Valley Center, Farmington, downtown Park Hills, and inside the Walmart Supercenter in Deloge. Subway, eat fresh. Hey, big thanks to Save-A-Lot of the Parkland, sponsor of the Parkland podcast. Mark, I need my Super Bowl goodies, and Save-A-Lot, great place to get everything I need.
They've got all your great snack ideas, but I'm kind of falling in love with their produce section.
Yeah?
Bought a big bag of oranges last week from them and some bananas. And I picked up some chips and things like that. I know they're well known for their meat. They have some of the best meat. It's cut fresh daily and the great service. But don't sell their produce section short either. I really just like going there and just looking around.
That's awesome. I was in there last weekend, and you know the 5 for $24.99 deal? It was a 6 for $24.99 deal. So keep an eye on the Facebook page. That's the Lead Belt Save-A-Lots, and you'll be able to see all those unique and different promotions that they do sporadically, and great way to save some money.
You can also sign up there at Save-A-Lot, and they will send you text and email reminders if you'd like, because I know I get one every week from them, and I always make sure to see what's special in case I want to go over there and take advantage of it.
Yeah, and there's some good deals,
Yes,
so check
there
it
is.
out. Save-A-Lot's the Parkland, Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington, proud sponsors of the Parkland podcast. Let's check your events. That's presented by Discover Farmington, more than you ever imagined. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com allows you to find out about entertainment, dining, outdoor activities, wineries, and more.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Mom's Cafe at the Memorial United Methodist Church takes place this Wednesday starting at 5:30.
CPR at the Bar, a fundraiser for the Bo Human Heart Foundation, is happening February 7th, 6:30 to 9 at Hub's Pub in Bonne Terre. That fundraiser, $35 a person.
The Punches family will perform at Mineral Area College. You can get your tickets at mineralareaarts.org. That performance is February 8th.
The Heartbeat of Heaven, a Valentine's Day dinner and dance at the Cardinal Center at Mineral Area College, will happen on February 14th. Proceeds will go towards building materials for the JKK organization, which is against sex trafficking.
The annual Farmington Winter Basketball Tournament takes place at the Civic Center in Farmington, February 15th and 16th. Go to mineralareabasketball.com.
On February 22nd, enjoy Frosty Fest at Charleville Brewery and Winery. Sample beer, brewery tours, appetizers, vendors, and more. Tickets available at charlevillemO.com.
Oh, my favorite event, Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, the musical. You can purchase tickets at the Farmington Civic Center or just calling 756-0900. It takes place March 8th. It's $10 for adults, $6 for kids.
I want to record you reading this book. I think
can
it
do
would be
it.
awesome. Check out the mouse races that same night, March 8th. That'll be at St. Joseph Catholic School in the gymnasium in Farmington. And that starts at 6 o'clock, and I'll be one of your masters of ceremonies.
And mark your calendars for Saturday, March 15th for the 38th Annual Michael Bryant and Carol Moore Jazz Festival, 7:30 at Mineral Area College, featuring Steve Wiest. Tickets are $15.
And that's your events page presented by Discover Farmington, more than you ever imagined. Find out about local events, even book a wedding or day trip at discoverfarmingtonmo.com. Let's talk about Parkland Pharmacy. They are local pharmacy at their finest. They have those 6 locations, of course, Deloge, Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, Piedmont, and Greenville. and they are ready to take care of you in the new year.
And this is a perfect time to talk about Parkland Pharmacy, because this is the time of year where the cold and the flu season really takes charge. And boy, do they have everything for you, from cold and flu medicine to cough medicine, everything you need to keep yourself healthy through these cold winter months. You'll find at Parkland Pharmacy, along with some of the best customer service around.
Yeah, and those drivers are really making their money in these months here during the cold, but they take care of their customers everywhere.
And you don't even have to get out of your car at some of the locations like Farmington, and I think Deloge, they've got the nice drive-through, which makes it really convenient.
Parkland Pharmacy, 6 locations there in Deloge, Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, Piedmont, and Greenville. New year, maybe a new building is coming for your facility. I would recommend Heimberger Construction, Mark.
Well, the examples are all around you to see the quality work they do, whether it's at MoCap, Pyramall, Crown Valley Winery, doesn't matter. Fantastic work done at a competitive price, and you get the Jennifer Heimberger difference. She is the driving force behind Heimberger Construction. She does a fantastic job, and I know you won't regret working with her and her team.
Plus, they have those Butler buildings. They're the best metal building system on the market, and the only buildings that have a pre-punched roof system and standard 360-degree roof seam for their standing seam roof. That means everything's nice and tight, it stays dry, and those buildings not only look great, but they also age well too, just like you, Mark Tody.
Yeah, maybe not quite like me. I leak from several different spots. That's another story for another time, though.
HeimbergerConstruction.com since 1978. Let's do some birthdays and anniversaries here on the Parkland Podcast. These are your birthdays for the week of Monday, February the 3rd.
Got to say happy birthday to one of my favorite people, Sarah Haas. Sarah Haas worked for many years at Mineral Area College and then in the newspaper, and just a great gal. So Sarah, happy birthday wishes to you. I hope you have a wonderful day. And Brenda Raymer, happy birthday to you. She is a Hain, and I have a whole lot of friends in the Hain clan. So Brenda, you are one of them. Happy birthday wishes to you.
Happy birthday to a former student of mine, Mickey Partney. He was one of the Potosi kids I had, and Mickey always did a nice job in class. Happy birthday to you, buddy. Lori Combe, administrator in the North County School District, celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, Lori. And Tim Hafner with the birthday on Monday as well. Happy birthday, Tim. How about Tuesday, February the 4th?
Well, our good buddy Chuck Odell celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Chuck. I didn't know until a couple of years ago that he could play the guitar.
Oh, yeah, he can sing too.
Yeah. Well, he gets overshadowed by Shelly.
That happens. But, and I can't not go on without telling the Chuck Odell Super Bowl story.
Oh, yes.
So Chuck, myself, Chuck Odell, Kevin Brooks, we got the 3 passes to go to the Super Bowl. And this is apropos as we sit here on Super Bowl weekend. We actually get to talk about an NFL game, and it's not going to be outdated. Yay. So anyways, we went to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. This was the birth of the New England Patriots dynasty. It was the Rams, who were still in St. Louis at that
Cheaters,
time.
not the Rams.
Against the Patriots, and KREI was a Rams affiliate, so we got to go to the Super Bowl. In fact, you were going to be sent, and you said, no, send the sports guy, Jason Lowry. So I was like, so thanks, buddy. That was like one of the coolest things I ever did. So anyways, we're there. We're in the Superdome, New Orleans, pre-Katrina. Man, it was fun. And we all had these different passes, and they allowed us like field access for a certain time, and then we had to go to these certain areas. Chuck's was probably the least fancy of the 3 of us. Like I had, real good seats. I was actually in a seat to watch the Super Bowl. Kevin was like in some kind of place in the bowels of the Superdome with like a big TV and all kinds of food. And then Chuck, I don't know where they stuck him. I think he was like outside on the sidewalk. But anyways, he ended up staying on the field somehow all the way till the game. And he made it like almost to the second quarter. and he had to go to the bathroom really bad. Otherwise, he probably would have watched the whole Super Bowl from the sideline.
Now, I know he has a picture somewhere of him standing right next to Howie Long.
Yes, yes. Howie walked up to him, and Chuck thought he was going to shake his hand, and Chuck actually reached out, and Howie shook the hand of like the person walking behind Chuck.
Got dissed by Howie Long.
Yeah, so anyways. All right, happy birthday, Chuck Huddle. Who else you got for Tuesday, February 4th?
And Lothrop, happy birthday to you. And Java.
Yes.
Of the Java clan, the longtime owners of Long John Silver's back in the day, and used to work at the radio station.
Yeah, and I'm really sorry about the Buffalo game.
Yeah.
She's a huge Bills fan.
The whole family is.
Yeah.
And my favorite bartender of all time, Megan Cecil, celebrates.
That's high
birthday.
praise.
Well, and there's a lot to choose from. Trust me on that one. Megan, she is a doll. She's a good Fredericktown girl. I could tell a story about her with one of my friends, but it's better suited for off air and not on air. But anyway,
Parkland
Megan.
podcast after hours.
Yes, that's what it would be. Happy birthday to you, Megan. She's better looking now than she was 12, 15 years ago when I first met her, and that's saying something. So happy birthday wishes to you from your boys, and good luck with your job. She's a nurse now, so happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday on Tuesday to Debbie Meesey from Farmington, and a lot of people will remember her working at Farmington Dougal's grocery store, and she made all of the homemade candy and pies. So if you were a Dougaler, where was Dougal's in Farmington? Was that
Downtown Farmington.
Okay, so she was there for many, many years. Happy birthday, Debbie. That's from our birthday connection, Dana Wampler. She's given us some good ones. And so this is a shared Facebook account, so I'm not quite sure whose birthday it is, but happy birthday to either Mitch or Tina Lotes. And
Okay.
I worked with Mitch at the Unitech Career Center, and Mitch and I have another story we could tell on that after hours podcast that involves my password that I mistakenly made, and Mitch had to get it for me from Mineral Area College, and he still tells this story every time he sees me. So there you go. Happy birthday, Mitch. Or if it's Tina, happy birthday, Tina, because you deserve a happy day for putting up with Mitch. How about Wednesday, February 5th?
Just one, my buddy Fred McDaniel. Happy birthday to you, Fred. I
Yeah.
interviewed Fred a lot on the radio
yeah.
back in the day, and now he's just retired and living a good life. So, Fred, happy birthday.
Yeah, good for you, Fred. Diamond David Murphy. David Murphy, great North County guy. He used to do basketball games with me on J98 back in the early 2000s, and I would pay him in leftover Bids for Bargains gift certificates.
Good choice.
Yeah, but he always ended up with the Hunkies ones, right? And it was like right after Hunkies burnt down, so he was, but no.
What am I gonna do with that?
I know. Happy birthday, David. Hope it's a great day for you. Erica Dunlap celebrating a birthday on Wednesday as well. And Amanda Gross. Happy birthday, Amanda. Hope you have a great day on Wednesday. How about Thursday, February 6th?
Hey, just one on Thursday for me, and that's my buddy Scott Licks. They have a great store in downtown Farmington right next to Cousins, Honeysuckle Farms. Great meat. I go there, get chicken and pork chops and pork steaks from there. They've got great brats. Happy birthday to you from your wife, your kids, and from everybody at St. Paul Lutheran Church.
Oh, that's awesome. That
Yeah.
makes me really, really hungry, too.
Me too.
Former First Lady of Deloge, Trish Shaw, celebrating a birthday on Thursday. Happy birthday, Trish. She did hair for many, many years. Lots of folks know her from that. And local chiropractor, Matthew Sherrill. Matt Sherrill, him and I were in a rock band together in high school, and now he pops people's backs and does a great job with that. He's in Park Hills over by, well, I guess it's called Park Hills Chevrolet now. It used to be Turner Chevrolet. Yeah. That's where his office is located. So happy birthday, Matt, and hope you are doing great, man. What about Friday, February 7th?
Friday, my nephew-in-law, Devin Moss. He is married to my beautiful niece, Miss Erica. Happy birthday to you, Devin, from your wife, from the girls, and from all of your family. Devin, a pretty good guy, good shape too. He exercises a lot, and so do I, but he has really effective exercising. Mine is just to stave off more obesity. Anyway, Devin, happy birthday wishes to you. Our good buddy Luke Mel. Luke. He was a great football player for Farmington back in the day. I think he was a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But
Good
he
basketball
also,
player,
he's a
too.
good basketball player, but he also did color commentary for our football games for 3 or 4 years. He and Chad Speaker. So happy birthday wishes to you, Luke, from your wife Jessica and your kids. Happy birthday to Jaime Lilly. Jaime's awesome, married to Don Lilly. And Jaime and I help call out bingo. She's for the Farmington Presbyterian Manor. She's also a part of the Help the Hungry bake sale. Does a lot of good things in the area. So happy birthday to you from Don and all your family. Amber Russell used to work at the Farmington Civic Center for a bunch of years. Amber, happy birthday to you, young lady. And Mary Sechrist Henry from the Sechrist clan, celebrating a birthday on Friday. Mary, happy birthday wishes to you.
Happy birthday on Friday to North County Wrestling aficionado Matt Harden. Happy birthday, Matt. Hope it's a great day for you. Laura Black, you probably interviewed her before as well. Grammy-nominated contemporary Christian artist.
I have interviewed her.
Yeah, of course, part of the Black
She
family
can
in Bontier.
sing.
Yes, she can. She can. Happy birthday, Laura. Hope you're doing awesome. And Tracy Hulsey celebrating a birthday on Friday. Happy birthday to Tracy. Give me your birthdays for Saturday, February 8th.
Laura Mays celebrates a birthday. Laura used to work at the Daily
Yes.
Journal, and we teamed up with them to do a couple of job fairs back in the day over at the Farmington Civic Center, or the Centene Center, I think it was. But anyway, Laura, you're awesome. You're wonderful. Happy birthday wishes to you. And Jim Wills from Bonne Terre, he used to own a donut shop in Bonne Terre. And he would advertise on Bids for Bargains, and once a year he'd bring over donuts and stuff. And actually, I would interview him on occasion, so he'd always bring me donuts. You're a good man,
Yeah.
Jim. Happy birthday to you. I hope you're doing well.
That is the way to a DJ's heart, is with food.
Food.
No
Food.
doubt about it.
Food.
You want some free advertising, you show up at any radio station with food, walk in there, you're golden.
Oh, and Amy Eves. I got to say happy
Oh,
birthday
yeah.
to Amy Eves. Don't want to leave her out. Happy birthday to you, young lady, from all of your family.
I want to wish a happy birthday to Matt Glore. Matt has Dexter Barbecue in Farmington, and he
Oh,
runs
yeah.
all the concessions within the Farmington School District. So he'll be cleaning out stuff over at the baseball field soon and getting ready for that. Happy birthday, Matt. Hope you're having an awesome day. You mentioned Laura. Worked with her at the Daily Journal as well. What a nice gal. What a nice gal. Logan Bradley. Here was another Farmington athletic
Yes.
stud from back in the day.
Yes, he was.
And had a chance to coach with Logan over the summer with some girls softball. So we had a good time with that. Logan's a good dude. And Rollin Tischer. Happy birthday to Rollin. He graduated from Farmington last year. And he's very much Mike Reevian, whereas you know how like everybody our age looks at Mike Reeves' Facebook page to find out about storms and stuff. Everybody, all the high school kids go to Rollin's TikTok to find out about what's going on with weather in our area. So he's the next Mike Reeves, I guess. So happy birthday, Rollin. You might want to maybe shoot your sights a little higher. No, just kidding. Sunday, February 9th, what you got?
Wanda Zaharsky celebrates a birthday. She's a lean, mean real estate machine with Coldwell Banker Halsey Real Estate. Wanda, happy birthday to you from all of your family. And happy birthday to Jeremy Coleman. He's an investment broker, but wasn't he for several years the manager of Walmart in
Yes,
Deloge?
managed Deloge Walmart. He went from Walmart to Edward Jones.
Yeah, there you go. He knew where to invest his time.
Yeah, he did.
Anyway, those are the two I have for Sunday.
How about Bill Cotton?
Yeah, Bill.
Local entrepreneur with Unico Bank. And Bill's got a couple other side businesses and things going on. I think he's like doing some kind of catfish thing, and I don't know, the seasonings. Weren't the seasonings we got from Save-A-Lot, wasn't that Bill's thing?
No, that was from Jeremy and his wife.
Oh, okay, so that was
From Bailey Joe's
That was a Bailey
Barbecue.
Joe's thing. Okay, I think
But his
he's
wife
got,
works with Bill Cotton.
Okay, maybe they're in cahoots with that stuff. I don't know.
Quite possible.
I don't know. But anyways, happy birthday, Bill. Hope it's a great day for you, and I hope Ole Miss does something special for you that day as well. Jeremy McDowell, probably the most decorated quarterback in North County history.
If he's not, he's amongst them.
Yeah. He's on the Mount Rushmore, no doubt. And then, of course, former football coach in the area, now the offensive coordinator for Southeast Missouri. He actually interviewed for the Farmington job. But they decided to go with Brent Eckley instead, and we'll talk to him in the podcast coming up in a little bit. But Jeremy, happy birthday to you. Hope it's a great day from your wife and your kids. Michelle Medley, she works in the athletic office at Farmington High School, and she is awesome. One of the easiest people to work with. Michelle's so cool. Happy birthday to you. Janet Thompson celebrating a birthday on Sunday as well. Happy birthday to Janet. And Jeremy Donzie with a birthday on Sunday as well. Happy birthday, Jeremy. Those are your birthdays for the week of February the 3rd. Booze and Bark Carpet, Booze and Bark Trailer Sales, boozeandbarkflooring.com, the website, you know the name. They've been at it for so long, and there's a reason why they continue to do it and do it well, because they know what they're doing when it comes to those areas that they are experts in. And don't just take it from us. Other people have the same opinion.
Yeah, I'm on the boozeandbarkflooring.com website, and I'm reading some of the reviews. The whole process from start to finish was very easy. The countertops are beautiful. That was one review. They did a wonderful job with our granite countertops. I highly recommend them. Amazing work with Booze and Bark. Oh my gosh. Blair is very professional and an asset to her company. Beautiful place, quality flooring materials and installs. Brock was our salesman and was just fantastic, and I could go on and on and on. Don't take our word for it. Those are actual customers of Booze and Bark Flooring talking about how great they are.
Hey, great time to get that project started now to spruce up your home so it's nice and beautiful for the spring coming up when you have folks come over. So check out everything that you can get at boozeandbarkflooring.com and wave at us on the billboard.
Yes, I love that.
What's the thing you do? I think you like point or something.
Yeah, well, I don't know what we're doing, but
we're having a good time. So big thanks to boozeandbarkflooring.com. Go check them out today. First State Community Bank has 3 Farmington locations. There's downtown Farmington. There's the corner of Karsh and Washington. There's the Maple Valley Center. There's the location inside Farmington High School. And there's, of course, fscb.com, which is where you can do just about anything.
I want to give a special shout out to First State Community Bank. I work with the United Way of St. Francis County, and they were so nice to open their doors early for 4 or 5 weeks in December to help us count money for the United Way of St. Francis County. They didn't just open the doors, they also had people come in and help us count. Then they ran the totals for us and kept us up to date with how well we did, and we're going to hear more about that coming up as well. But anyway, First State Community Bank, they are a true community bank, a great part of the community, and if there's something going on in the area, you're going to see somebody from First State Community Bank there.
Absolutely. Member FDIC, online at fscb.com. First State Community Bank, sponsoring the Parkland podcast.
Parkland Pharmacy is out to prove that local independent pharmacy is alive and well. We work hard at giving you an excellent experience every time you come to see us. We love what we do, and we would love to take care of you. There's no need to be frustrated with your health care. If you're tired of what your pharmacy is not doing for you, then stop waiting in line and come see us today. We have 6 locations across Southeast Missouri, so Google us to find the store nearest you or visit parklandrx.com. Parkland Pharmacy is a local pharmacy at its finest.
Here's your sports for the week. We begin with Monday girls basketball finals. Potosi a winner over Farmington. Fredericktown beats St. Genevieve. Arcadia Valley defeats Jefferson. Eureka win over Central. Bismarck beats Kingston. West County defeats Valley of Caledonia. And St. Paul a winner over Grandview. Boys games for Monday. Bismarck defeats Crystal City. Valley Catholic a winner over Arcadia Valley. And Grandview defeats St. Paul. Tuesday, girls basketball. Bismarck defeats Lesterville. West County a win over Grandview. St. Paul defeats Ellington. And in the Hillsborough tournament, North County a win over Fox. Boys basketball finals from Tuesday. Farmington beats Festus. Potosi a winner over Kingston. West County gets by Central. It was Valley Catholic over Jefferson. Lesterville beats Bismarck. South Iron a win over Fredericktown. And St. Vincent defeats St. Genevieve. Wednesday, girls basketball. It was Valley of Caledonia with a win over Kingston. And boys games saw North County defeat Arcadia Valley and West County beat Crystal City. Thursday, girls game. Central will win over Potosi. Fredericktown beats Farmington. St. Paul defeats South Iron. Lesterville will win over Valley of Caledonia. Bismarck beats Crystal City. Arcadia Valley will win over Meadow Heights. Jefferson gets past Kingston in one boys game from Thursday. Valley of Caledonia beats Lesterville. Then Friday, girls basketball, Hillsborough tournament. North County falls to Freeburg, Illinois. In boys games, it was Farmington over Potosi. Central defeats North County. Fredericktown a win over St. John in overtime. Kingston beats Arcadia Valley. West County beats Bismarck. And Valley of Caledonia gets past Valley Catholic. Then on Saturday in girls basketball, North County gets past Sullivan in the Hillsborough tournament 47-43. How about wrestling now? Tuesday, Owensville defeats Central. St. James would also get a win over Central. St. Genevieve sweeps a tri-match with DeSoto, Herculaneum, and Valley Catholic, and DeSoto a win over Valley Catholic. Girls wrestling from Tuesday, Owensville beats Central, then Central comes back and beats St. James, and St. Genevieve a winner over DeSoto. Wednesday, girls wrestling, Farmington takes a pair from Fort Zumwalt West and Westminster Christian. Then on Thursday, St. Genevieve beats Hillsborough. Potosi takes two, defeating St. Pius and Stillville, and Windsor beats North County. Boys wrestling, Potosi gets 3 victories, beating St. Pius, Stillville, and Hancock. Hillsborough win over St. Genevieve. Windsor beats North County, and then Valley Catholic takes 3, beating Gateway Science, Notre Dame, and Kelly. Friday night, girls wrestling, DeSoto tournament. Central finishes 8th and North County 12th. And then Saturday wrestling, on the boys' side in the DeSoto tournament, Valley Catholic finishes 2nd, North County 4th, Central 11th. And in the Francis Howell tournament, Farmington's boys team finishes 17th. Now to college basketball. The men and women in action on Wednesday, taking on Moberly. The ladies get the win 64-57. The men fall to the Greyhounds 65-61. Then on Saturday, a double dip against State Fair. The men victorious 84-60, and the ladies fall to State Fair 57-53. Also, Mineral Area College baseball getting underway this week, and the Cardinals get a win on Thursday over Pensacola State 5-1, and they split 2 on Saturday, losing to Pensacola State 12-0 and defeating Northwest Shoals 4-1. Meanwhile, earlier in the week, the Farmington Knights announced that Brent Eckley is their new head coach, and myself and Chad Speaker had a chance to catch up with him back on Monday.
Joined here on Knuckleball Prime Time and the Parkland podcast by the brand new head coach of the Farmington Knight football team. We have Brent Eckley joining us. Coach, first off, thanks so much for spending some time. I know you're a busy guy trying to sell the house, trying to get to Farmington, Missouri. How are you, sir?
I'm great. I'm excited, super excited to get to work. And it's I've told a lot of people that have reached out to me, and I've said it's awesome because I'm getting closer to home. And I think as of right now, I still consider Jackson to be home. But I certainly get the same feeling from the people at Farmington.
Go. I want to ask him about football. You get the back.
Oh, I get the back. Okay, very, very good.
Go ahead.
So community feel, was that one of the things that made Farmington kind of stand out in your mind? Because, I mean, we talk about the resume, the state title, the Hall of Fame, all the, postseason appearances and the deep runs. I would assume you're pretty qualified to coach in a lot of different places. What was it about Farmington and about the community that seemed like a good fit for you?
Well, there's a few things. One of the deals we were looking for was a school that was big enough that I felt like we could implement our program. Mm-hmm. And Farmington checks the box there. Also being a town that it's its own entity. It's not part of a huge city. And it checks the box there. There's so much that I loved about Jackson, about the community, about the, getting to coach a kid whose dad and grandpa played there. You don't get that in the city. You've got a program that's played football for multiple generations. I don't have that at the school that I'm at now. It's 18 years old. And so there's something to be said for that kind of tradition. When you look at location, there's not really a better location for me personally away from football than Farmington. It puts us about 4.5, 5 hours from 2 of my daughters and 4 of our grandkids. And it puts us an hour from one of our daughters that's in St. Louis. And it puts us a little hour and 15 or so from 2 of them that are in Jackson and 2 more grandkids that are there. And so that's been a big part of this. But, you know, I can remember back when I was at Union, we were playing Poplar Bluff. And so we were stopping at Farmington to do a walkthrough, and it's like, they had turf. When I was at Union, we did jamborees at Farmington. Why? Because they're the only school that had turf. And so, there's something to be said for that, the pride that they have in their facilities and in their school. And it's just really neat being part of a community where the school is the central driving force, and it's important.
Coach, I remember catching up with you. I was working in Moberly when you first got your first head coaching job, and had a chance to cover your teams. You obviously took over a program that with proud tradition in Jackson, but you've been a turnaround guy. You turned Montgomery County around, you turned Union around. And I remember talking with you. You said, hey, this summer I just came from the University of Kentucky where Hal Mummy was, where Mike Leach. They were just installing the air raid. It was brand new. Yeah. You kind of brought that in. You've tinkered with it, though, since that time. And I want to ask you, at what point do you feel like your offense went from the air raid and what you learned there that year to, okay, now this is Brent Eckley's offense?
That's awesome. Here's the answer to that question. We threw the ball all over the yard early on at Montgomery, and we did it some at Warrensburg, and then we did it at Union as well. With the Webb kid. And we threw it, we've thrown it some, now, but I think one of the things that we've learned is, ways that you can not lose a game. And how do you learn that? By losing a game. And so when you look at, there's been times where we've had games where I will put it here. This was probably 2018 down at Poplar Bluff. 2 minutes left in the game, we're up by a handful of points, and we're on like the 17-yard line going in. That's a 3rd down play, and we throw the ball, and it's a pick six, 83 yards. We lose. Why'd we lose? Because I called pass play. If I would have called a run play, we would have won that game. And in the end, we played them again at the end of the season. I think beat them double overtime at their place. But the point is, I think the offense is always evolving. I'm always, every year, I'm kind of a numbers guy. So every year I want to look at and see, what the efficiency of that play was. And if it wasn't efficient, was it because of I was dumb and when I called it? Or was it fundamentally, maybe we're not teaching good enough fundamentals to the guy that maybe busted? Or is it just not good versus the majority of the defenses we're seeing? So I'm always kind of digging in there. So the offense it rolls and it goes. What I will say is, if you look at us offensively, we really had an edge in 90, 98, 99, 2000. We had a huge edge through there in throwing the ball because there's a lot of defensive coaches that were like, nope, we're 4-4 cover 3. That's what we do, which allowed us to throw 4 vertical and chunk play them. Nobody's doing that anymore. Everybody's playing too high, and the defenses just keep catching up. We go 4 vertical, and they go too high. And then we go RPO, and then they figure out that they're going to play man on one side and zone on the other side. And so, it's a cat and mouse game. We're always trying to adjust. So the offense is changing. We've been probably – I could have said this at the beginning. We've probably been 8 or 9 years now that we've play call-wise, we've been 50-50. Or 55-45 run. It's been that long. This last year, we were probably even a little bit higher. However, every run play that we have, there are choices for the quarterback to make pre-snap and post-snap that could turn it into a pass. So when we call a run play, if we've got a good quarterback, we're going to be 50-50. Because he'll take advantage of the defense not playing a receiver out there and throw it and uncovered receiver and keep us moving.
Hey, big thanks to Save-A-Lot of the Parkland, sponsor of the Parkland podcast. Mark, I need my Super Bowl goodies, and Save-A-Lot, great place to get everything I need.
They've got all your great snack ideas, but I'm kind of falling in love with their produce section.
Yeah?
Bought a big bag of oranges last week from them and some bananas. And I picked up some chips and things like that. I know they're well known for their meat. They have some of the best meat. It's cut fresh daily, and the great service. But don't sell their produce section short either. I really, really just like going there and just looking around.
That's awesome. I was in there last weekend, and the 5 for $24.99 deal, it was a 6 for $24.99 deal. So keep an eye on the Facebook page. That's the Lead Belt Save-A-Lots, and you'll be able to see all those unique and different promotions that they do sporadically, and great way to save some money.
You can also sign up there at Save-A-Lot, and they will send you text and email reminders if you'd like, because I know I get one every week from them, and I always make sure to see what's special in case I want to go over there and take advantage of it.
Yeah, and there's some good deals,
Yes,
so check
there
it
is.
out. Save-A-Lot's the Parkland, Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington, proud sponsors of the Parkland Podcast. Booze and Bark Carpet, Booze and Bark Trailer Sales, boozeandbarkflooring.com, the website, you know the name. They've been at it for so long, and there's a reason why they continue to do it and do it well, because they know what they're doing when it comes to those areas that they are experts in. And don't just take it from us. Other people have the same opinion.
Yeah, I'm on the boozeandbarkflooring.com website, and I'm reading some of the reviews. The whole process from start to finish was very easy. The countertops are beautiful. That was one review. They did a wonderful job with our granite countertops. I highly recommend them. Amazing work with Booze and Bark. Oh my gosh. Blair is very professional and an asset to her company. Beautiful place, quality flooring materials and installs. Brock was our salesman and was just fantastic, and I could go on and on and on. Don't take our word for it. Those are actual customers of Booze and Bark Flooring talking about how great they are.
Hey, great time to get that project started now to spruce up your home so it's nice and beautiful for the spring coming up when you have folks come over. So check out everything that you can get at boozeandbarkflooring.com. And wave at us on the billboard.
Yes, I love that.
What's the thing you do? I think you like point or something.
Yeah, well, I don't know what we're doing, but
we're having a good time. So big thanks to boozeandbarkflooring.com. Go check them out today.
Few businesses in the Parkland have the reputation for quality and beauty like Ike's Florist, and new owners Macy and Philip Kreitler are continuing the tradition of great customer service and quality floral arrangements. Introducing Ike's Revival Florist, Farmington's full-service florist and cozy market for all things wholesome. Still on Karsh Boulevard in Farmington. Unique gifts to show thanks and congratulations and love. Order online at ikesflorist.com and follow them on Facebook. Ike's Revival Florist.
Back on the Parkland Podcast, time to get political now. We have the 116th State Representative joining us here, Dale Wright. Dale, always good to see you. You always are so well dressed. Coach Henderson came in here a couple weeks ago, and I think he had like sweatpants on.
Yeah, he was chill.
Yeah, he was chill. I don't know if I've ever seen you not in a button-up shirt and maybe some kind of coat.
Well, do you remember Terry Braxton?
Yes.
Who was here. We worked together, had a company together, and when I first met him, he was always wearing a blue blazer and khaki pants and so on, and maybe I just got it from him. We could be in casual meetings, and he was always dressed to the nines, and maybe that just wore off onto me.
Well, anyways, you're looking well.
Thank you.
I guess, is this the last term that you will be serving us in Jeff City for?
This is it. I've served 6 years, 3 terms, 6 years, and I've won re-election in both a primary and a general election. And so here I am. It's gone very fast, but here I am in my last term.
So Dale, you're a successful businessman. You've had a lot of great ventures. What makes you decide, not that you're an older man, but just at this point in time, like, I think I'd like to join the Missouri House of Representatives?
Well, it actually didn't happen that way.
Okay.
We all know Kevin Engler.
Oh, yeah.
Very well.
He asked you to do this.
Well, he coerced me into this, actually.
That sounds like Kevin.
In his own gentle way.
Sure.
But yes, he called me and said that he would be termed out in 2 years. And would I consider running? He said, we have 3 people in mind, and you're the top of our list. Would you consider it? And I said, well, Kevin, to be honest, I don't really even like politicians, but I'll think about it. And so a year went by, and he'd call me like every week, just really calling and so on. Finally, a year out, before he was termed out, he called me and he said, what are you thinking? And I said, well, I don't know. He said, look, you've got to make a decision here, because if you don't run, we've got to find somebody to run and have time to raise money and campaign. I said, well, Kevin, if you need an answer today, just find somebody else. I haven't decided yet. He said, no, I tell you what, you and your wife, Denise, come to Jefferson City, and I'll show you around, and you can shadow me and follow me and see how things work, and then make your decision. I said, okay, that's fair. So Denise and I went to Jeff City and watched Kevin, and we're in some of the side bar meetings he had and watched on the floor and so on, and my head was spinning. I was confused. So about halfway through the day, he said, what do you think? I said, you know, Kevin, I'm absolutely positive this is not for me. You need to find somebody else. Don't call me anymore. Leave me alone. I'm not going to do this. And he said, well, I thought you'd done a really good job, but I'm sorry to hear that. But while you're here, we always introduce our people back home on the floor. And can I introduce you and Denise? And I said, well, sure. So anyway, he got up and he said, Mr. Speaker, I have 2 special guests here today. This is Denise Wright, and she just retired teaching English at Mineral Area College for many years. Yeah. And this is Dale Wright. He's going to be replacing me.
Oh, my.
And so the place started clapping and everything, and I was stunned. And so I whispered to Kevin in front of everybody. I said, Kevin, you misunderstood me. I said, I'm not going to run. I don't want to do this. You need to tell him. He went, okay. He said, Mr. Speaker, he just whispered in my ear and confirmed he's definitely running.
Wow.
So people came and slapped me on the back. The house photographer took a picture, and so I was pretty much committed and ran and won fairly easily. And I've been real blessed and privileged to serve. And a lot of people ask me, do you really enjoy it up there? I can't say I enjoy it, but it's an honor and a privilege to be the voice and the advocate for people back home. So it's been a real good experience for me, and a learning experience and an enriching experience.
So you're happy that Kevin, now looking back.
Well, now that it's almost over, yes, I'm really happy. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I would assume the rewarding part for doing what you do is when somebody comes to you with a problem and you're able to help them find the ways to fix it, and maybe fix it for other people that maybe would experience the same issue, right?
You know, Jason, you're exactly right. A lot of the representatives and senators, their thing and what they really like to do most is do legislation and create bills and do research and so on. That's probably the least appealing to me. But what you're saying is exactly right. I feel really good when I can help people back home, especially people who don't maybe have a good voice, representation. They just need some help. And so we've done everything from helping people who maybe their son has been incarcerated in another county, or another state or region of the state, to bring them here so they can see their family, to helping Mineral Area College to try to get our new tech center. We worked really hard to get financing for that, to just people getting their income taxes straightened out, just lots of different things. And so that is rewarding, and so I really like doing that.
You've got some pretty interesting legislation that you've been a part of. I really liked how you got the road signage for our military veterans. We can talk a bit about that. You also helped get a state designation for the Arch.
That's correct.
I believe. And you've also done some legislation that's much more far-reaching, I believe, involving the insurance companies.
Well, that's correct. I'm not real popular with the healthcare insurance companies, but
Well, hey.
That means you're doing your job.
There are these organizations called Pharmacy Benefits Managers, or PBMs, and they are hired by governments, large corporations, smaller companies, and so on, to negotiate pharmacy prescription drug prices for them and to manage the whole thing, the billings and rebills and so on. And so they were created to aggregate volumes of corporations, and they might end up with maybe 1 million lives that they're working with. And then they would go to pharmacy manufacturers and negotiate contracts, use that volume to leverage that down and get pricing. Well, that worked really well for a while, but then the insurance companies saw all of the billions of dollars going through these organizations, so they ended up acquiring these PBMs, and then they also brought in retailers like CVS and others. So now, instead of having a good balance of people keeping others on task, now they're one incestuous, totally integrated corporation. Now, rather than trying to reduce costs for patients, it's about paying dividends to shareholders. And so the pricing, if you've bought pharmaceuticals or prescription drugs lately, they just keep going up. And so my legislation doesn't stop them from doing what they're doing, but it makes them report what money's coming in, what fees they're paying back, what rebates they're getting, and so on. And they've not wanted to share that, and so we've filed that several years now. That's one of the bills that I did refile, but we've also got another gentleman who's a pharmacist to file it as well. He's a new freshman, and so we're kind of trying to run it through him. But anyway, that's one of them. Another one, again, because I come from a healthcare background, is prescription drugs. If someone's on a very expensive, let's say, cancer drug, maybe it's $100,000 a year, the drug manufacturers will give a patient a voucher, a money voucher that they can use, and it's money that they can take that to their local pharmacy and use it for paying pharmaceuticals or to use for their deductibles and their insurance payments, their co-payments, whatever. Well, recently the insurance companies decided they didn't want people to use that. They wanted the cash. And so other states, they allow that, but here they've not allowed people to do that. So we've got another bill that we're trying to make sure that people can use that. It shouldn't make any difference to the insurance companies whether it's cash, a check, credit card, a voucher. It's all money. Anyway, they fought us on that one. So I'm not real popular with the healthcare insurance companies.
But you are popular with a group of Farmington school kids because you worked with them to get some legislation passed.
Well, that's exactly right, and that is the St. Louis Arch legislation, and that one I have to admit I was kind of embarrassed when it first came to me. I've never been big on naming articles or things and so on after people, but one of the teachers, Janice Chapman, came to me. She was an art teacher, and came to me and said, our students, I think it was the third or fourth grade students, had done some research and found out that the state doesn't have an official state monument in the state, and they had chosen through a project to choose the St. Louis Arch.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and it does make sense. Yeah. And I said, okay, so we did the research and found out sure enough there was nothing there, so we filed that. And like I said, I was a little embarrassed, but I have to tell you, we got national news on that.
Yes, you did.
It was nationally broadcast. The cool thing is I said, I'll do it under one condition, that the students have to come up and testify. And they did These are third and fourth
That's so
graders
cool.
came in before the tourism committee and testified why they wanted to do it. It was unanimous in the committee, the committee, and then it went to the floor. We announced that, and it was literally unanimous there as well. Both Democrats and Republicans came together, and so that's one of the bills that I have hanging on my wall in my office in Jeff City.
I want to pick your brain about education. Obviously, something you know a lot about with your wife, having such a long education career. One of my wife's favorite teachers that she had when she was learning to become a teacher. What are we doing with education right now? Obviously, the federal funding is I guess going to be handled differently, possibly. We're still not quite sure. What can you do in your position to make sure schools still have everything they need and education still functions properly?
You bet. Well, one thing that's been a real concern for years is, at least before I got there, was they were just not, the legislature wasn't fully funding education. And so that was a real challenge for local school districts. Another thing was, I learned my very freshman year in talking to the local superintendents, is that the state is supposed to pay for up to 75% of transportation costs. Well, I found out at that time the state was only paying around 17% of the costs, and it was leaving our school districts just in a real bind. For Farmington, St. Genevieve, and Perryville that I had at the time before redistricting, it was costing them anywhere from $800,000 to over $1 million out of their own pockets. And so that was one thing that I actually personally worked on with Representative and now Senator Mike Henderson and Representative Rick Francis. They were both school administrators. And so we worked with them, and we're able to, ever since that time forward, we've been fully paying our fair share of transportation. As far as the funding itself, it's still fully funded, the formula. However, I will say it was, I believe it was House Bill 727 or 757 that was passed last year that added on charter schools, parochial schools, the public schools, etc. Excuse me, and it was going to be about an $800 million price tag. And so I was one of the few that voted against it. I wasn't real popular with leadership, but I just felt like that was a big chunk. You know, we continued to fund it fully. Well, this was to expand it on beyond what was even asked at the time. Our governor, Governor Kehoe, he in his State of the State address announced that of the 800 million, I'm sorry, he was proposing that we pay 300 million. And what that will do is actually keep us caught up with the growth. So a lot of people are not happy that he cut out $500 million, but that's not what the cost is now, in my opinion. So I agree with the governor. We have to fully fund our education, and I'm a strong proponent of that. One thing that's come up is open enrollment. That's been a really big topic in education these days, in charter schools, etc. I'm not a big charter school fan, at least in outstate Missouri. I think it's good in the inner cities, and charter school, for listeners who maybe are not aware of them, charter schools are for-profit schools. Someone decides they want to make a profit, so they invest and create a charter school, and for good reasons probably, but they partner with maybe a university like Washington University or someone, and then they start their school. The problem with that, in my opinion, is they don't have to meet the same standards as what public schools do. They can pick and choose what students they take. They don't have to provide busing. They just are in my opinion, kind of the Wild West. But it also takes monies away from our public schools. Open enrollment, the reason that I like that is it gives our parents choice. That's what the parents want. The families want school choice. but gives them the opportunity to have school choice, but it's within the realms of the public school system. So the funding stays in the public school system. The retirement for retired teachers, that money stays in the pool as well. And I first voted against it because I didn't think it had enough safeguards, but then Representative Brad Pollitt, who is a retired superintendent of schools in Sedalia, was the one who offered the last version of it. And he put in there, I was concerned that people maybe from, let's say, Bunker, Missouri, maybe their kids wanted to play football.
Right.
And so they would leave Bunker high and dry and go somewhere else. So he put a safeguard in there where the student would have to wait at least 1 year. Most students aren't going to sit out sports 1 year back home or basketball or whatever. So that's one thing. And the other thing is it has a 3% cap on it, and means that no more than 3% of mobility in students. Well, as we, Representative and now Senator Henderson and I interviewed people, their mobility rates were around 20%. So it was a whole lot higher than the 3%. So that was another safety valve as well. So anyway, those were kind of the reasons that I did that. But I am a strong supporter of public schools.
So if that legislation goes, now is that in effect? And
It's in effect, yes.
Now? So like if I decide that I live in the North County School District, but
Yeah.
I want to go to the Central
Yeah.
School District, I can do that, but they can't go play sports for a year, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to wait 1 year.
Okay.
Now it can be appealed to Misha.
Okay.
But that's the rule.
Because I'm envisioning in my mind parents and you know anybody that's involved in youth sports now sees it. I don't like that coach, but I really like that
Right.
coach. I'm going to
Right.
move my kid over there. And then let's say, and I hate to do this, but let's say the best football coach is at this school,
Right.
and because of that, we're seeing like
Right.
enrollment hurting these other schools. And is that where I guess the
Yeah.
3% helps with that?
Well, that's where the year's wait helps for that.
Okay.
And the 3%, obviously. But there's another safety guard in there too, and that is that schools can opt into the program at December 1st of each year. They can opt in or opt out. So they have that option to protect themselves. So
you got a new governor in. He gave a State of the State address this past week. Your thoughts on that and your optimism for the session ahead?
Well, first of all, I'm a big supporter of Governor Mike Kehoe. He's a good man. He's approachable. When we were looking for funding for some projects around here, like the gas line to help Bismarck and other things, that was $7 million. He actually personally came out on site and looked at that. We're looking at maybe an industrial park over by Mineral Area College. He personally came and looked at that. And as a sidebar, there are only like 2, maybe 3, but I think there are 2 large industrial parks in the whole state of Missouri. And so that limits us for maybe large car manufacturers or whatever to come into the areas of Missouri. So this gives us another opportunity in Missouri. So he liked that. So we think it will help us being even by the Mac Tech Center. Mac is also looking at expanding a research farm. And so we're putting that in part of the whole package as well. So anyway, I don't know if I even answered what you were asking, but
Just the State of the State address, everything good there. And then are you optimistic about getting things done this session?
Yeah, again, to the State of the State, he really put some really good things out there. His main focus is going to be crime. He grew up in northern St. Louis County, and so he's seen it firsthand in his current family that's still living there. So he sees that, and there's a little bit of a controversy about the state maybe taking over the city's police department. So that'll be debated. But he's big on that. He's big on child care. We've really had some issues with child care that actually affects our employment of people who can actually go be part of the workforce. He's really focused on health care and just several things that I feel like are really important for the state. As far as going into the session, I absolutely, positively believe that the Senate's going to be a lot better this year.
You're already off to a great start.
Yeah, we're on a great start.
Anyways, yeah.
Some of the people who were the real issues have moved on to other locations or spots or termed out or whatever. And the indications are right now that the Senate's going to operate a whole lot more smoothly and collegial and so on. The House still remains to be seen. We have new leadership there, and they're kind of getting their feet under them, and we'll just see how that goes. But anyway, I think we'll get some good things done.
Your role has kind of changed this year. It says you're getting into your last two sessions of the legislature. You're now more of a guidance for the younger folks.
Well, that's right, and that's kind of how it works. As you get to be some of the senior people in the House, and I'm assuming in the Senate, you try to help some of the younger people. And so I have the opportunity of working real closely with Representative Lobinger in District 117. We share a legislative assistant, and we kind of sit right there together in the House chamber. And so that's kind of by design, to where when you're brand new, I mean, everything is just totally a Greek to you. So you have somebody to say, why are we doing that, and how come this is happening, and so on. So yeah, we do that, and then we're helping people in some of the bills. I'm probably not filing as many bills as I have in the past, but it's to maybe have other people even take over some of my other bills that I've carried in the years, to have them take it over, and so we're kind of shepherding that through.
Very good. Anything with those bills that you have in particular that people watching or listening might be interested in?
Well, it's again the prescription drug bills. Those Farmington is wanting to expand their airport runway, so we're looking to try to get them some funding for that. There is a bill that I've sponsored, and then I've also asked someone else to sponsor it as well, to kind of create a fairer playing field between bed and breakfasts and maybe locally owned hotels. The hotels have to pay a tax. Bed and breakfasts don't pay a tax. And so a lot of these, especially mom and pop hotels, feel like it's not fair, and it's not. And so we've got some legislation that Rick Francis had carried before. He's termed out, and so I've been asked by the folks in Perryville to carry that. So I've done that. And we're looking at some other things. Haven't decided yet on those, but we've just got some inequities as far as taxes that I feel like we need to address. So anyway, we're just looking at different things right now.
Just to kind of wrap things up here, if there's one thing I've heard maybe more than anything else out of Jefferson City, is how well represented this area is. Not just you and Mike and now Becky, but going back before you with Kevin and Gary Romine, even all the way back to Bob Ward and Danny Staples. This area has always been well represented and well thought of in Jefferson City.
Well, thank you. One thing that I feel like is important is don't worry about who gets credit for something. Just try to get the job done.
Right.
And I learned this actually from Senator Mike Henderson when I was not even serving yet, but I was ready to serve. I said, give me your priority of how you look at things, and he gave me some very wise counsel, and that was always use your conscience first. Is this something, if you vote on something or do something, can you still look in the mirror or sleep at night or whatever? So that's got to pass that test. Number two, as we consider legislation, is it good for our constituents back home? Those are the people who we work for, and those are the people who vote for us and send us to be their voice and advocates. And then finally, the last thing is the caucus or the party. So that's kind of the sequence I look at every single bill. Is it past my conscience, and then is it good for the constituents? The party will take care of itself generally, but that's kind of how we look at things. So, and I think that all of our representation has kind of acted that way.
Absolutely.
Very good. Appreciate your time as always. We'll have you on again right as the session is ending.
Okay.
And we can kind of give a recap of what happened and and anything else you want to talk about. So,
well, hopefully I won't lose any more hair. When I started
if you're like
this,
me, there's not much left to lose, is there?
Well, when I started this 6 years ago, I had a full head of thick black wavy hair, and now look at me.
oh man,
Actually, I'm lying, but anyway.
Oh, who do you like in the Super Bowl? Probably a pretty easy question.
Well, I think if I didn't vote and choose the Chiefs, they'd probably throw me out of the Capitol. So we're hopeful they can do a three-peat here.
Any bets? Any bets between governors?
Usually there is, but I haven't heard yet. But I'm sure that something's about to happen.
Philly cheesesteaks and toasted raviolis and pork steaks and stuff like that, I guess, right?
Well, speaking of bets, back when I had Branding Iron Barbecue, this was back in '82, I believe, maybe '90. I can't remember when it was, but they were playing Boston, and so I saw this bill come through for real expensive shipping, and so I called the manager. I said, "What is this about?" They said, "You didn't hear?" I said, "No." I said, "The Cardinals and the Boston Red Sox had a bet, and if the Cardinals won, then Boston had to provide them the best lobster on the East Coast in the Boston area, and if Boston won, they wanted the best barbecue in the state of Missouri, and they called us."
Nice.
And so it was Branding Iron Barbecue at the time, who's now Dexter Barbecue.
Right.
So we shipped boatloads of barbecue up to them. So anyway, Boston won, but we won too.
Absolutely.
Branding Iron may be the best pork steak ever in Farmington.
Is that what was in there, or was it like an assortment of meat?
It was mostly ribs, but they had pork steaks and,
Right.
and all kinds of things. So
Because they probably have never even heard of a pork steak there.
they'd never heard of a pork steak. You're exactly right. It was pretty interesting, pretty fun.
Good.
What a travesty to the rest of the world to not to enjoy that succulent cut of meat.
That's right.
And what a travesty that the Red Sox beat the Cardinals. But that's another story for another time.
Dale, always good to see you.
Good to
Thanks
see
so
you,
much for
Dale.
joining us.
Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Dale Wright joining the State Representative right here on the Parkland Podcast.
Boy, what a great year 2024 was for Discover Farmington. They had blues, brews, and barbecues. They had so many neat events, and they have big plans for 2025 too.
There's going to be a whole list of activities that will be taking place in 2025, not just in Farmington, but the surrounding area as well. And that's the beauty of Discover Farmington. They're not just here to promote Farmington. They want to promote the entire region, because what's good for Farmington is good for Park Hills, is good for Deloge, and vice versa. So definitely check out their website, discoverfarmingtonmo.com. If you want to keep up to date on things going on in the area, these are the folks to deal with for sure.
DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com allows you to book a wedding or a day trip. And again, find out about all those great local events. Discover Farmington, sponsoring the Parkland Podcast.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long, or pretzel, and probably not a churro. They also said, under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. Then we said, but we already made them, and they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
Back on the Parkland Podcast now, and we're joined by somebody Mark and I had the privilege of interviewing for many, many years in our radio career, and that's Shelly Bess, Executive Director of Shared Blessings in Bonne Terre. Good to see you. How
Thank
you
you,
doing?
Jason. I'm doing great. It's nice outside this morning.
I know it's been a little cold.
It has.
And with the cold weather comes a lot of challenges for the people that serve.
It does.
Talk a little bit about what it's like whenever the weather gets as cold as it is for our homeless community.
Okay. Well, yesterday and the day before, we took probably more applications than we've taken in January. Because in January, they're human, just like we are. And so they find a place to exist until they can move on. And so yesterday and the day before, we were on the phone all day because we take all of our applications over the phone. So they come from all walks of life. I think everybody has a picture of when you say homeless, of the guy laying on the concrete, Right. That's not who we serve. We are family-based. You know, we serve those folks that live check to check, catastrophic thing happens, they struggle and struggle until, say, they lose their job. So they lose their job, well, it doesn't take very long if you don't have income coming in. And so you lose your house, you lose your car, you lose your job. And so you end up where you have nothing, and you don't have family sometimes that can back you up. And so that's who we serve. You know, currently we have a mom. She's walked a life that she is trying to regain her steps. She has some children that are coming back into her life. We have a dad that is struggling. He has 2 boys. He desperately is trying to raise those boys and do it the right way and be there for them. And life has not been fair. And so he needs some help. He needs some help just getting back on his feet. He needs some help mentoring those young boys. So it's different. It's not who you think usually, who we serve.
Shared Blessings is located at 518 Grove Street in Bonne Terre. The phone number is 3582998. I guess the official name is Shared Blessings Transitional Housing Ministry.
That's for you, Mark.
That's kind of a key, though, to put you, differentiate you from a homeless shelter.
It is. You know, we try not to use the word homeless shelter because of that stigma. You know, even the folks that serve with us, they're a nervous wreck when they come through the door. They don't know what they're going to encounter. And ours, we run it safe is the priority first. Before anything else, we have to be safe because typically we have 1 or 2 volunteers there, and usually it's an older woman. And so safety is prominent. No one can be there. A visitor, a volunteer, a resident can be there that hasn't had an extensive background check. So in life, really, it's one of the safest places you can be because everybody there has been checked out, and we know that we don't have anybody there that could cause a problem. So on the resident side, you know, they can't be there if they're a predator. They can't be there if they have extensive mental health issues and they're not on their meds. So if they're on their meds, they can be there. If they're, you know, taking their meds, they're stable, they can be there. You can't be there if you have an active warrant. You can't be there if you have multiple rental evictions because the whole idea is that within 90 days, we will find your income and then we will find your housing, and no one's going to rent to you if you have multiple rental evictions. And so you can't, you'll never be able to leave. And so if you're a woman, you have to be able to climb the steps. And there's 17 of them to get upstairs because all women sleep upstairs, all men sleep downstairs. But other than that, you know, they call, they apply, we put them through the background check. Typically we have to say no because of mental health. We found that in that community living in that old building, you have the same diagnoses or you have the same medicines. They can't live in harmony in the community living. And so we have to watch who's in the building before we admit someone else.
You go through a whole program with these folks to get them from walking through the door, homeless, to becoming a productive member of society. Tell us about that process.
I will. Okay, so they call and they apply. We tell them to call back in 2 hours. If we say yes, then we set up in a time where a team of volunteers come in and we do the admit process. It takes about 3 hours to admit one person because we have to go through the protocol to make sure that we don't bring anything into the building we're not supposed to. And then there's a book. It's about 20 pages now. Over 20 years, we've compiled this book of what they have to adhere to live there. And so I like to say it's a 90-day program, 30 days to gain their trust. Because would you believe that you can go somewhere and live for free and that we will supply everything you need? And then we won't take from you, but you have to save your money while you live there. And so it takes a little while to convince them that the program works. So I say we gain 30 days to gain their trust, the next 30 days to find the income, because some people can't work that we help. And so some have to get a job. And so after they find their income, the last 30 days is to find their housing. So while they're there, we meet with them and we figure out if there was fault, what caused them to become homeless. Say, some that we have never been taught to be independent. They weren't taught to get up, brush your teeth, clean yourself up, feed your children, and go to work. They weren't taught that. So sometimes we do that. Sometimes it is just to give them a respite. They have been trying, and life just keeps kicking them to the curb. And so we work through all of that, and so that's when you'll see us on our Facebook page asking for help. And so like now we're looking for somebody to come in and teach parenting, just because these parents are trying so hard. But maybe if somebody with a perspective that they haven't tried, or just the camaraderie, to have another parent come in and say, I see where you are, I feel for you, or I've been there, this is what I did, and this is how my family's living now. Maybe we can help you and your family get to that position. And then Move Out Day is the best day to be at Shared Blessings, because all the donations that are given, we sort into the best possible way where we serve the most people. So we help way more people out of the building than we do in the building. So when we save the furniture and the appliances and all of that, it's in our garages. We have a truck and a trailer. We back up and they get to shop from whatever we have, and then we go set up their new home.
Nice.
Yes.
How can people get involved? I know there's a need for volunteers.
Always.
There's a need for finances. There's a need for to restock the areas where they get to pick out their furniture. How can somebody get involved in any of those?
We would love for anyone that can come by 518 Grove Street, take a tour, because that's how we end that stigma. That it's a scary place, that we're helping people we shouldn't be helping, all that kind of thing that goes on. Come by, learn what we do, call. It's manned 24/7, 365. So you can call and talk to the volunteer on the phone at 573-358-2998. We have a huge presence on Facebook that usually has all the information of what's going on. We're operated by volunteers, and so we're constantly seeking. The phone is answered 24 hours a day, but 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. we have volunteers come in the building and do that. Then 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. is covered by what we call staff. So like 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, and 8 hours are currently taken as a phone shift. So somebody has to answer the phone and take that application for us to do the rest of it. But then we need the volunteers that would come by and just help us work with the residents directly. Our building was built in 1910, so there's a challenge every day that we could use somebody. We want you to come by, look at our Facebook page, see who we are, what we are, and just come by. It's not for everyone, because there are sad days. We work with that poverty-stricken, heartbroken people. But Move Out Day, the other days that you see the progress, even if they leave before they graduate to a new home, they usually leave that door with the love of Christ and something they learned while they were there.
You're very much a Christian-based organization.
Very much so. It will come up every time. We do not preach it to our residents, we live it in front of them.
So I want to talk also about a dream that you have had for many, many years, and you love 518 Grove Street, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But if you had one dream you could have, I think it would be a new modern facility.
It would be, and it's very early in the possibility, but it is there. And it's there more than it's ever been. And so last year we thought we were moving, it didn't work out. And so the volunteers have been a little downcast, and me too. And now we have a possibility of 1 or 2 places that may happen. And this week I met with a designer, and they're putting it on paper. It's never been on paper.
That's a good start.
That's a good start. And he's going to make us this 3D rendition of it. And I just sat with him and told him, we've been doing this 20 years. Charlene Husky, group of women, started helping the homeless in 2005. By 2007, we were incorporated, and we've been at Grove Street since 2009. We've served many, many people through that old building, and never want to appear like we're not grateful for that, because we are. But we could open the door for so many more people and say yes so many more times with this new building. And so we put all of those ideas from the last 20 years on that piece of paper, and he took notes, and so I am so excited to see it in the next couple of weeks.
Nice.
Wow, that's real exciting. Yeah. So you mentioned the beginnings of this, and I think another neat thing too is your great-grandma worked in the same building?
Yes. For those in Bonne Terre, they know Granny Cramp, and she and Nellie Tamure, her sister, were nurses and aides up there when it was a residential care facility. And so, the new building conversations, it has entailed tearing that building down and staying where we are. It's just the great expense, and how do we keep working if we have to do it that way? And it would be a sad day for me, because I'm walking the halls my granny walked. And so, it's a silly reason to leave the building stand, but if it's up to me, I won't tear it down.
No doubt.
Shelly, you do an amazing job. It's a passion. It's not just a job. It's a passion
it's a
for you. Yeah.
It is. God called me to be there. We tried to leave and I wanted to do different aspects. I didn't want to leave, but I didn't want to do the director job anymore. And I felt like 40 hours sitting at the desk, someone else could bring an expertise to it, or bring, write grants and such. And there aren't many grants for faith-based homeless. Yeah. And so I felt like somebody that sat at that desk 40 hours could take us to the next level. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't. Maybe God's called me to be there until it's setting in a new building, running itself. So.
Shelly, Bess, again, our guest. We're talking about shared blessings, and unfortunately, the need is there, and probably going to keep growing. But again, people can volunteer; they can help out in so many ways. I wanted to ask you too about furniture, things like that. How did those donations work out if people want to help these folks transition into a new home?
Okay, we accept everything except mattresses and old electronics, and everything else we can handle. We take, and then if you call and we have to tell you no, it's just because we don't have a place to put it right then. And so I want to make that clear, that if you call and you say you have a whole house full of furniture, we don't have the manpower anymore to go get that. We used to do that. We can't do that anymore. But if people bring it, we typically try to find a place to put it. And with 100% of the donations, we use them the way we feel we're the wise steward. Okay, and so if you give it to us and we pass it on, it's because we felt like a greater number of people will be served by that.
Where do people come from to stay at Shared Blessings? All over, and how do they hear about you?
Anna Kleiner does our reporting, and we haven't done that one, and she's working on reports right now for 2024. 5 years ago, probably half of the people we serve came from St. Francis County, and then the next half were the counties around us. We don't serve that transient that's moving across the nation and just needs a place. We don't serve that person. But if they call and they say they need to come to Bonne Terre or they need to come to St. Francis County for some reason, we look at their story and see what they're saying. Usually not. We're usually serving the people that we know, not Bonne Terre, there's a group of people that help decide yes or no. So if they're from Bonne Terre, I step out, but I never have to. I don't know. We don't have many people from Bonne Terre apply. But it is our county that we serve the most people.
I know you want to say a big thank you to the community for how they've accepted you, because when people graduate, they need a place to live, they need a job and all that, and the communities have reached out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Our employer base around us that is close enough for them to walk, we couldn't do it without them, and they just continue to help us, even though sometimes we let one slip through that isn't a good employee. We try not to do that. We don't send them out for a few weeks after they start living with us because we want to see the red flags if there are any. Then we send them out to be a good employee. And so we couldn't do it without those employers. We wouldn't be there. By God's grace alone, we're there at this point in the game, and this point in the game where we're looking at a new building, we wouldn't be there. If God wants it to be there, it wouldn't have been safe through its trials and tribulations. But at the same time, all of the people, individuals that just monthly just send a check in, and they always have. We have people that have been with us from the beginning that are still sending that monthly check.
Good. That is so cool.
It is.
Need to have you back on again in the fall.
Yes,
talk about
please.
some more stuff going on then,
Yeah.
and maybe too, if everything works with this new
Right.
facility, got to have you on to talk
Yes,
about that. That's
yes.
super exciting.
Absolutely.
I'll bring my model.
Yeah, we can just put it right out here.
Okay.
That'd be super cool. Shelly, so good to see you.
It is
and
great. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, and I'm so glad that God continues to use you to help out so
Thank
many
you so
people.
much.
What a blessing for you.
It
isn't
is. It is. I've learned so much, and you have ideas in your head, and then when you see it face to face, you're like, "Ooh, that was not right. I did not have that correct thought."
Oh man, Shelly Bess, Executive Director, Shared Blessings. Help them out if you can. What a great service and a great treasure of the Parkland.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
At the Pasta House in Farmington, you'll not only get great food, but great service as well. From the pastas to the seafood, steaks, sandwiches, salads, and even burgers, the decision to eat at the Pasta House is easy. But choosing what to eat may be a little bit more difficult. But one thing is for sure, when you dine at the Pasta House, you'll leave full and you'll leave happy. That's the Pasta House in the Maple Valley Center in Farmington.
Music time. On the Parkland podcast, we talk about music, we talk about songs, we talk about albums, and we're also going to do like a little ranking thing coming up really soon, which I'm excited about. I had a hard time doing it, and I'm still not quite sure if I want to commit to what I have written down, but whatever. Anyways, what's your song of the week, Mark?
The song, I heard it this week, and I fell in love with it all over again. It's from Todd Rundgren. Yeah. It's called Bang the Drum. I don't want to work. I want to bang on the drum all day. What a fun song. You cannot go wrong with a song like that. It will put you in a great, great mood. So that's my song for the day. I know my brother Tom would appreciate that because he's a classic rocker like I am. And speaking of classic rock, I'm sticking with The Who again this week. This is one of the oldest albums that I own. It goes back to like 1970. It's from The Who. It's called Meaty, Beady, Big, and Bouncy. And it's got all of The Who's early hits from I Can't Explain, The Kids Are All Right, Happy Jack, I Can See for Miles, I'm a Boy, Pinball Wizard, Boris the Spider.
Love playing that on Halloween.
Anywhere. This is such a great album. If you want the quintessential early Who, this is the album for you, Meaty, Beady, Big, and Bouncy.
Wow, that's very cool. I'm going to use kind of an obscure Nirvana song for my song of the week. It's called Locker Room. It was on a DJC Rarities album, and I think it was one of the songs that didn't make the cut on Nevermind. Just a great rockin' tune. One of Kurt Cobain's best guitar solos, and he wasn't, really known for being a solo guy other than going and trashing his guitar.
Who was the drummer for?
Dave Grohl.
Yeah, he was probably the best musician.
Oh, absolutely. And they did like a little pop-up at one of the benefits for the California wildfires with all the surviving members, with Grohl on drums, Chris Novoselic on bass, and Pat Schmier, that's his real given name, on the guitar. And then they had various singers. I think Joan Jett was one of them that joined them to sing some Nirvana tunes. So.
Nirvana and Pearl Jam, probably my two favorite grunge era.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then for the album of the week, you presented me with this fine piece of
album
baby.
History.
Good old Steve Martin. Back in the day, kids, before they had Netflix comedy specials, comedians used to do full-length albums.
Yes.
And this was a great one from Steve Martin, right in the heyday of his stand-up
He played stadiums. He didn't play like clubs. He played stadiums.
Oh, yeah. He
as a
was
stand-up
huge.
comedian.
And then, of course, parlayed that into
movies.
One of the most successful movies. And I mean, he's still relevant today. That TV show on, I think it's on Amazon Prime that he does with Selena Gomez and,
yes.
Oh, who's the other guy from Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
He
The
was
church
Ed
lady,
Grimley.
I think.
What's his name? Anyways, people are yelling it at their podcast.
He got to start the Glenn Campbell variety show.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't
Great
know that.
banjo player, too.
Yeah, he is. And in fact, he takes that very seriously. A friend of mine did an interview with him, and he was ready to talk about The Jerk and, all this Steve Martin stuff, and he just wanted to talk about the Bluegrass album. So
Kevin Brooks and I always got a kick out of Dick Womack because Comedy is Not Pretty is the name of that album.
Yes, Comedy is not, and it's not.
But Dick Womack tried to call it Comedy is Not Easy.
Oh, that's true too.
So, in Dick's case, that was very true. Anyway, that was Kevin and I's standing joke. We would probably use that with each other about once a month.
All right, so let's talk about something you challenged me to do at the end of last week's episode.
Yes.
And that was to come up with a list of top 5 U.S. acts and top 5 British acts.
And to quote Stephen A. Smith from ESPN, the list is fluid.
It is.
The list is fluid. It could change. All right, do you want to go first or me?
Okay, I'll go ahead and go first since you always go first with the other ones. So I learned when I did this list that apparently my musical taste for music from across the pond is a little older than what I like from the U.S. British acts, number 1, the Beatles. Excuse me. I mean, love the Beatles for a long, long time. I know some people are always like, are you a Beatles guy or a Stones guy? I'm definitely a Beatles guy, and I have to put them at number 1. Number 2 is my second favorite band of all time, and that is Pink Floyd. I think that just about everything they've done has been amazing, and love Pink Floyd so much. Third for me, a little different than most people, that's where I put Electric Light Orchestra. Jeff Lynne is huge, and I think I'd listen to ELO more now than I ever have, and I just love the band and all their cool songs. I put Zeppelin 4th. Probably other people would maybe have them 2nd, or maybe they have the Stones up there and Zeppelin's 3rd, but I mean, can't beat it. So many great songs, so many, just the band, everybody in that band, so good. And then Queen, I have at number 5, and kind of like Electric Light Orchestra, I discover new Queen stuff, and I'm like, oh man, that's really, really good. All right, let's get your British ones before we do our American ones.
This is favorite, not best. If it was best, it'd be the Beatles, number 1. But my favorite, The Who, seen them in concert 3 different times, back in the 80s, and the 90s, and the 2000s. Definitely my favorite group of all time. Probably know that if you watch the podcast. Number 2, the Beatles. Nothing wrong at all with the Beatles. Number 3, I went with Led Zeppelin. Love Zeppelin. Black Dog, Houses of the Holy. I could go on and on and on. Got to throw the Stones in there. There's some things from the Stones I don't particularly care for. They're a little disco era. But man, too many good songs.
Yeah. Had the Beatles stuck around, they probably would have had a disco era too.
No, they would not have.
Oh, okay.
Don't be sacrilegious. And I was going to go with the Kinks, but looking at your list, I think I will put Queen at number 5. I forgot about them. Definitely Queen number 5 with the Kinks right at the edge because of Lola, if nothing else.
Right on the cusp. Okay, so U.S. acts, top 5. These are my favorites. Number 1 is Tool. I just really like the band. Progressive metal, came out in the 90s, and they don't mess around. They only do like one album every 10 years, and I usually like the songs are anywhere from like 8 to 22 minutes each, and just so good. I don't know. It's hard to explain Tool to people, but if you like them, you know what I mean. Number 2, I have the Beastie Boys, because the Beastie Boys are the only band that I liked when I was 12 that I still like today. And the Beasties were awesome. Saw them in concert many times as well over the years, and just loved the rhyme scheme. And had MCA not passed, I bet they would still be putting out relevant and cool music. I put the Foo Fighters third, and Foo Fighters, Pearl Jam's next to Nirvana should be on this list, but I kind of tried to go with more catalog, and the Foos been around longer, done more music than Nirvana. Pearl Jam, a big Pearl Jam fan. One of the best concerts I ever saw was Pearl Jam back in the day in the early 90s. And again, their catalog is huge as well. And then I got Tom Petty at number 5, Tom Petty / Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. For me, that's, I know the sounds are a little different, but for me, that's like all one group. Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Smashing Pumpkins, Weezer, those were bands that are like on the cusp that I'd like to add as well.
All right. Well, I'm going to go the Eagles at number 1.
Okay. I see that. That's another one I thought about too.
Yeah, love the Eagles, love Creedence Clearwater Revival.
CCR.
Man, they are so good. You pick and choose your top 10 songs, and then somebody else can pick and choose their top 10 songs from Creedence, and they'd be totally different songs.
And all good.
Yes. Another group that you probably didn't think of that I just fell in love with, Toad the Wet Sprocket. Love Toad the Wet Sprocket. They are awesome.
Yeah.
And a group kind of along the same venue there, REM.
REM's great.
How can you not put REM in there? And also another group that had 3 or 4 great albums in a row back in the early 90s, Collective Soul.
Oh, yeah.
Love Collective Soul. And one group that gets an honorable mention on British, or we should say other acts, because we also said you could be from Australia or wherever. Got to give honorable mention to U2 in there too.
Yeah, yeah.
I just think they had 4 or 5 great albums, and then what they did in the last 10 years or so, not as good for me.
Is Zooropa where you jumped off
pretty much,
the YouTube bandwagon?
Pretty much. But just because they could almost make the list for the Joshua Tree album.
Yeah, oh gosh, that's such a great album.
Yeah.
I also did like some others, like The Police. I love The Police. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. They are 2/3 British, as both Sting and
Stuart Copeland?
No, Stuart Copeland's the drummer. That would be, Andy Summers. And I always think that's wrong because there's a guy from Farmington named Andy Summers, Steve Summers' son. But so they were both British. Stuart Copeland was American. The Police would be in there anywhere. Rush. Obviously, all Canadian. And then the Baha Men. Remember the Baha Men? Do you remember their favorite, their big hit?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Who Let the Dogs Out? Of course, they were from the Bahamas.
Yeah, we'll leave that one off the list. Sorry, dude.
So there you go. That was fun. We need to do more stuff like that.
That was a good list.
I like that a lot.
Good list.
So we'll come up with some other kind of music thing to do as well. All right, well, make sure you enjoy the Super Bowl. Who do we have coming up next week?
We're still working on that. We've got a couple of guests in the mix. We're still trying to finalize that. Go Chiefs. Chiefs will win the Super Bowl.
You think so?
Yes.
So that's going to be 3 in a row?
Yeah, 28-24 Chiefs.
28-24. All right, if I got to make a prediction, I'm going to go... I'll take Philadelphia just so that way one of us will be right. Yeah, that's okay. And I'll take the Eagles 37-35 in overtime.
All right.
We're not ending the Super Bowl with the safety. 37-34
there you go.
In overtime. All right. Enjoy the big game. Enjoy your week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for tuning in to the Parkland Podcast.